Sulpan, joined today by Mac Dewey on the virtual desk. And Mac Dewey, who do we have today?
Dude, I am so excited for the Light League Finals. It's the #1 seed Lotus White taking on the #2 seed Hawkthorne Esports for the title. I don't think it gets much better than this. The players are ready in lobby. We're going to hand it over to the analyst desk to break down draft for game #1.
Thank you so much, Mac. I'm joined on the analyst desk here by my buddy TDS. My name, of course, is Hawk, here for the Excellency Light League Finals between Lotus White and Hawkthorne Esports. And you know what? I think Sulpan and Mac Dewey set it up pretty well. The 1 seed against the 2 seed, pitted against each other for all the glory.
Yeah, and just based on the 2 teams that are going to play, we should expect a really good series. I would expect a 5-game banger, but obviously things can go wrong every time, so maybe it would be a 3-1, 3-2, but I just hope we get really good games. That's everything that I'm hoping from the 1st and 2nd seed.
Yeah, absolutely. You always hope that the series, is going to go the distance. The 2 teams are going to push each other to the limit, and the quality of League of Legends that we're going to get is going to be really high. Of course, things might have already gone wrong because, of course, Hawkthorne Esports ADC Counters is out today, and subbing in for him will be the AD carry Rosalina. So as we do get underway in draft, that will be an important thing to keep an eye on. But we do have Anivia getting banned out first by Hawkthorne. That's a staple pick for St. Alucard, as response is Wukong.
Yeah, I like going for the comfort pick. So obviously, these picks, we have seen the bans coming through previously, but keeping up with those bans, it's important. No, don't give comfort to the enemy, even if meta champions are really strong. Stopping them from having comfort, I think, at this particular level is way more important. So Anivia respect ban, the Wukong respect ban as well. I really like seeing those at the start.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of comfort, I mean, they not only take away the Anivia, but the Thresh as well. Super meta pick.
Yeah.
Super comfortable there for Fire Streaks in support for Lotus White. Not letting them get their hands on that. Diana getting taken away as well. Very strong meta jungler. Extremely good mid and early game, especially with that level 6 power spike, becomes a very threatening skirmisher. So I'm really liking the ban so far. Nothing too particularly unexpected. And TDS, I'm wondering what you would go to if you're Hawkthorne here in terms of a first pick. What power pick on the board are you taking right now?
Without Diana and Nocturne being in the table right now to be picked up, I feel like Irelia should be a really good contested pick to have. Irelia, currently, she got a rework, so she's really strong. I think that she is a champion that people can just pilot really well and doesn't have that much problems, the same problems that she had previously. So I feel like it could be a good champion. But I like the Shen. Even though it's not a flex pick and not something that can go towards other lanes really easily, I think it's pretty much going towards top lane. You should expect that, but the power that it gives towards preventing plays on the other side of the map or helping your team be able to pull off certain things, it's really important to have. And I feel like if you have really good coordination, having the Shen, it's really important. Although Xinjiao is really strong.
Absolutely. I like the Shen pickup as well. I wouldn't be too quick to not call it a flex pick. Who knows? Maybe we'll get some River Shen, but I do agree. Probably going to go into the top side for Godzilla. And I think it also enables picks like the Aurelia that you brought up. It sort of leaves the door open for that kind of thing. But Lotus White, immediate response with really, really strong skirmish and dueling potential in both the set and the Xin Zhao, going to generate a lot of solo pressure in this early game. But I kind of want to go back to that Aurelia pick that you brought up, because I think that champion is definitely one of the best ones in the current patch that is now falling to the second phase of blue picks here. Could be picked up here, blue 2 and 3. I think it's a pretty strong pick, especially potential, pick in the mid lane. I like it into a lot of the champions that St. Alucard likes to play. He plays a lot of slower, more scaly type champions that Aurelia might be able to take advantage of, especially with something like the likes of Shen and Trundle be those big, beefy frontliners that can really get in and support her. And speaking of that, Trundle also having a good matchup into the Xin Zhao. It gets very tanky, very good neutral objective pressure, and can be difficult for the Xin to bypass in that early to mid game. But now, as Hawkthorne is moving towards locking in their 3rd overall pick, I think this will really indicate what kind of composition they're going for. And surprise, surprise, that's some hard engage.
Yeah, they are really going strong with that, not only having the Shen, but the Rel going in. And I like that combo already. Having the Stand United on the Rel to just go full into the enemy team and just dive with
unavoidable engage.
Yeah, I hope that they have really strong damage carry, so I wouldn't be mad if they go for a Kai'Sa or a Tristana here, because I feel like those two champions are really good to follow the rail engage. And we have to wait and see what Hawkthorne does go with AD carry, but I feel like those two will be the primordial options. And this to me enables even more the Irelia, because having two champions that can create so much havoc will make the Irelia in teamfights have the chaos that she needs to be able to scare around and have much more power. That way the enemy cannot focus her. So it's going to be chaotic, and that's what she loves fighting.
Definitely. I'm really hoping to see that pick come out as well. I think it makes a lot of sense here. Of course, hasn't been picked or banned yet, so who knows? Maybe it won't come out at all. But I think this also, the composition locked in so far for Hawkthorne is speaking to some of the faith that they do have in their substitute AD carry in Rosalina. I mean, this is somebody that hasn't really played at all for Hawkthorne. Of course, he did sub in for one game that Hawkthorne ended up losing in the semifinals, and then they swiftly 3-0'd after bringing counters back down to the AD carry position. But I mean, they clearly haven't lost any faith in their substitute. They have the same amount of faith that they do have in their starting AD carry. So I think that speaks to the potentially really strong team dynamic that this team might end up having. So definitely something to keep an eye on. And now moving into the second phase of bans, as I mince my words. We've been talking about how Hawkthorne needs strong damage carries, and I definitely agree. I think their composition is not very well suited to skirmishing, as we've seen. I mean, Trundle, Shen, they can skirmish in their own right, but you're really looking to hard engage. You're looking to start fights. Alistar is a good ult target for this Trundle to get a lot of resistances. There's a lot of good options for Hawkthorne on the side. So what damage carries are you looking for them to pill out? And also for Lotus White, they also have a similar composition of 3 big beefy frontliners locked in so far. It is a beef squad on the Rift. So, other than the Aurelia, what mid and bot laners do you think would benefit both of these teams and potentially be contested picks moving forward? You know what? They answered that question for you.
Yeah, I like the Vayne coming here because I feel.
And we are so sorry. OBS just decided to crash on us, but better now than in the middle of a team fight, am I right? Anyway, draft has just about concluded here as these high damage carries are getting locked in. TDS and I covered it very well, and unfortunately your point was cut off. But to summarize, basically having a sustained damage carry with the likes of Vayne with so much frontline, especially against a relatively short-range composition that Hawkthorne has locked themselves into, allows a lot of room for Necrox, who has looked like the best AD carry in Light League, voted first team All-Pro, to really shine. And as well, St. Alucard on this Corki, I feel like you're just giving your two best players the tools that they need to really take over this game. And on the opposite side, Hawkthorne getting the Silas, I think that's a really intriguing pick, especially into the likes of the Alistar. You can steal away that Unbreakable Will and become extremely hard to kill because, of course, Alistar is not going to do a whole lot of damage while that's going, but Silas is a whole nother story.
Yeah, and it's not only the Alistar, I really like the Vayne ultimate as well for the Silas to just be slippery. The same with the Shinja ultimate. I feel like he has a couple of ultimates that will be really good for teamfights. And this composition from Hawkthorne is what I was expecting to see from the first 3 picks. Obviously, I wanted an Irelia, but the Silas makes sense so that you have that much AP damage thread in your composition and you can still create so much havoc. But yeah, the idea is the same. Hawkthorne will want to win really early, really quick fights, so you want to instantaneously engage and explode the carries as fast as possible, because longer team fights will be much more favorable for Lotus White, not only because of the Vayne, but with the Corki now, you have 280 carries that will be able to deal continuous damage. So if you cannot explode them, the counter engage and the counter damage from Lotus White will be much more favorable, and they can delete tanks if they have the chance to do it. So it's going to be really dependent on how Zed and Alistar play these teamfights, because if they can push away the Zed, if they can push away the Rel, if they can push away the Silas, then your carries will be much more comfortable and you can win teamfights that way. That will be crucial.
Yeah, with all the reward that comes with Vayne, of course, there is the high risk because Vayne is short range in her own right, and one wrong step in this route can just blow you up. And, while Tristana is a very good high damage carry, I do like that you bring up, I feel like Hawkthorne going towards the Silas is a little bit more focused on the one shot. And I think it'll be difficult to pull off on slippery carries like the Vayne and the Corki, but if you're able to get onto them, I think that is definitely a one team fight, because the likes of the Xin Zhao on the set, while they can do a lot of work, I don't think it'll be enough up against how much sustain and health Hawkthorne will have if the Vayne is removed or the Corki. So definitely going to be something to keep our eyes on. Necrox, St. Alucard, going to need to position very well. But we've talked a lot about where the team fight could be going for these two compositions, and I think it's very clear that is going to be where the game is decided on who executes better in the 5v5. But looking across at each of these individual lanes, do you prefer one side or the other, and being able to get any sort of individual advantages for themselves to set themselves up for that team fight stage?
In that regard, I feel like Xin Zhao, if he gets a really nice early pathing and he can go towards maybe the mid lane and the top lane, I don't feel like bot lane should be that much interacted with unless it's to counter gank. If it's to initiate, I think like going towards top lane and mid lane would be the priority, because if you can shut down Sylas early on, then you can win so much more with the Corki. And if you can give Zed an advantage, that you will have someone in the side lane that can put pressure, and in team fights, his Haymaker will be much more valuable the more items that he has. So obviously putting him ahead will be really important as well. So I feel like if Xin Zhao can do those moves, then the game for Lotus White will be much more easy. On the side of Hawkthorne, I think the early level 2 for Tristana and Rel, which I think almost everyone knows, if they are able to get one kill, then bot lane will get out of control. They should be able to snowball out of that one kill, because they can now put so much more pressure on the Vayne, and also give a little bit of a space for the Trundle to be able to invade and put pressure on the Xin Zhao as well. So conversely, it's going to be really important that the bot side from Hawkthorne is able to either win or be stable really early on, so that they can transition really well into the mid game.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, Lotus White got counterpicked in both of their solo lanes in this one. So, you know, having that ability for Xin Zhao to sort of ideally take control of the top side of the map, as he should be able to. The set should bully out the Shen pretty effectively. The Corki likewise having the range versus melee matchup against the Sylas. You know, there's a lot of potential for early plays up on that side. I really like that you bring up the set, but Tristana definitely on the bottom side, not something to be trifled with. And although I do think the gank setup is not the best for the side of Hawkthorne, and it will be hard to easily get kills on a Necrox, especially if the flash is available, Alistar helping punt people away, the neutral objective pressure cannot be understated on the Trundle, and I think that's something that can fly under the radar about this pick, and it's why it becomes so good in competitive play, is the ability to take away early dragons and threaten for soul is pretty immense. So definitely eyes on the Trundle to be able to take away some dragons, because I do think the top side pressure, particularly attacking the Shen, so that the bottom side dive at level 6 with the Stand United cannot come through, because I think, you know, if the Shen sort of gets out of lane for free, the set doesn't get ahead, and you're able to start threatening this Vayne, the Beef Squad, it won't matter if there's a tower there, because they're just not going to be able to kill you.
Yeah. And that's what you should expect. You should, even though you should expect to try and deny the Shen, you pretty much think that he will come through almost every time. So you need to be careful about that. But if you can, even if the Shen comes through, if you don't lose anything, then you're already winning. Against the Shen particularly, because the Stand United, if you don't actually gain any value out of that particular ultimate, the cooldown is long enough so that later on, you can just come back into the game with the small victories that you win. So it's really important to keep in mind the Shen, be able to put him down, and make him waste that ultimate as Lotus White. And as you were speaking with the Trundle, being able to set up objectives and control objectives, that is also a really important power spike, because in mid game, if you have a 2-dragon lead and you are forcing an early soul point as Hawkthorne, then you can force fights on top of the Vayne and the Corki, which shouldn't be that strong at that point. So that would be the most important part, to try and win and get a little bit of a snowball, so that you can then get into the game even better.
Right. Well, all eyes on the neutral objectives to see which team is able to force the most favorable team fight, because you have to think that's what these compositions are going to do. Hawkthorne Esports up against Lotus White in the Light League Finals here in Excellency. We'll see ya in game. Tossing it back over to Mac, Dewey, and Silpan.
Hello, Summoners. Welcome onto the Rift for game number 1 of this best of 5 final series for Excellency Esports Light League. It's the number 2 seed Hawkthorne Esports taking on the number 1 seed Lotus White in a battle of titans for the title. My name is Mac Dewey, and joining me in the casting booth is the one and only Soulpin Arth, the jungler for Hawkthorne, coming off of a pretty hot week, now getting a matchup he likes.
Yeah, definitely gonna be happy about this one. We saw him play this into Polycraft, who's kind of the Xin Zhao player of Light League, phenomenally. He knows the power of this champion. He knows he can take on these 2v2s against the solo laners. Sylas and Shen have, well, Shen doesn't quite have the priority over the Sylas or the set in the top lane on Common Taco. Trundle will make that matchup just so easy for them, as he can just drain that AD early, and he's just such a strong early game duelist that those 2v2s should be going in the favor of Hawkthorne.
And we see to get game number 1 started off here, no one wanting to step across into no man's land, or I guess other team land, as everyone's staying not behind their own riverside, and the junglers both starting on their red buff, Sultan.
Yeah, not too surprising here. I think a big point is that Smartpants will be playing for this top side. I think he's actually looking to avoid Arth in the jungle, so I like the move here on the Xin Zhao, looking to just kind of mirror this clear. Should be going for the good old quick clear on red to Raptors to blue, but potentially looking at level 2 here. I'm not sure what this invade might be.
Oh, I wonder if he got spotted by that blue trinket ward. No pings onto him. He's going into the mid lane. Heartstuck Brother forced to flash at minute 2.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, the level 2 gank pays off. Yes, he'll be slightly behind this Trundle, but burning Flash at level 1 against this Sylas in the middle lane will be so much pressure just invisibly now in this man's head, as he has to play so much safer against this Corki.
And what's really interesting is Lotus White going for what I feel like is a pretty standard composition for them. Necrox on a big carry, St. Alucard on a big carry. Gonna be feeling comfortable knowing that the Corki mid lane able to help out the ADC in the bot lane. Artho coming up to the top lane. Common Taco, flash available. He's waiting on it. He's building up that haymaker, ready to not smash some faces just yet. He's only a level 2. Oh, just kidding. He drags him under the turret, and that is going to be Arth slowly walking back into the jungle.
That was actually really suboptimal pathing there from Arth on the Trundle. You drop the pillar, but he walks around his own pillar, so almost kind of blocking himself with that. He could have gone for the cutoff path and forced that set onto that slow as long as possible, but instead, he's just able to walk out, even saving every cooldown possible to make that a slightly favorable trade for him in the top lane.
Taco not even burning his flash in that gank. Minor advantage to Lotus White, as hey, Smartpants has got that flash off of Hardstuck Brother. Now the junglers, even in CS, each taking a scuttle crab. Gonna be watching maybe at this bot lane. Rosalina, the substitute coming in to the finals. And Hawkthorne Esports draft a composition that we would honestly think, Solpin, it's counters down in that bot lane.
Yeah, I can't verify this exactly, but I'm pretty sure they have no idea where Smartpants is on the map. This could have been a great opportunity with the priority available for Arth to go for an invade on that topside jungle, looking at the Raptor camp or the Krugs, but instead he's just forced to go back into his own bot side, not going to really find any advantages here, and now Smartpants is in a great position for a gank.
Hardstuck Brother, no flash available. He's going to dash in onto St. Alucard. Flash from Smartpants. He knows it's not available from HB. First Blood going over to the first team All-Pro mid laner.
Yeah, and that's the danger right there. You burn the flash early, just come right back around for it. And Hardstuck Brother, despite being flashless, just uses his only escape in the lane to go forward and look aggressively here onto St. Alucard. He got a favorable trade, yeah, but when you don't know where the enemy jungler is and your jungler is nowhere near to answer with a counter gank, you're just going to lose that. I mean, it's just a matter, you're kind of taking a 50-50 there. So coin flip play does not go in his favor. He falls, and now it's burning his second summoner as well, and it will be St. Alucard with a massive advantage here in the middle lane.
Arth trying to sneak into the bot lane, but Matty Mice, he's going to get condemned into the wall, and the gank is foiled. Rosalina and Matty Mice looking maybe to just shove this one in now, as Arth rotating over to the Dragon with the bot lane priority.
Yeah, that's something they can absolutely do all game. Just with the passive Tristana, she'll always be pushing in this bottom lane. And so in theory, you should be able to rotate your jungler to this dragon, pick this one up fairly easily for yourself. As long as you can maintain this prio and MG Rosalina can play this lane just safe enough, out of the range of fire streaks there, you can just constantly look towards this neutral objective.
Smartpants back in the mid lane. He's going to be able to land the dash, trying to slow HB down. Chains back in. St. Alucard trying to fire from far away. Dragon secured by Hawkthorne Esports. The first objective going over to them.
So that's actually really good by Hardstuck Brother. He baits him in just a little bit longer as well, chunking out the HP. Gonna force the recall. They should know that this Zinza won't be available on the map for just a little bit longer. And now finally managing to hit level 6. If they can truly find anything, any kind of kill shutdown back on the Sylas, Hardstuck Brother can easily get back into this game and even be in a position to carry it.
do want to point out, HB, after dying for first blood, did use his teleport to get back into the mid lane. So Alucard package should be coming online fairly soon. Does have an opportunity to make a big roaming play happen. Maybe with smart pants, maybe could just do it on his own.
So with Hijack just now becoming available here for Heartstrike Brother as well, I want to point out, he really only has 2 ults that he wants to steal. Crescent Guard can be somewhat useful against the Corki, but Vayne will in theory be within that range at all times. Could be used for disengage, but obviously you're looking at either stealing the Unbreakable Will here from Fire Streaks or the Showstopper from the top lane set. And then if you do get those ultimates, they're situational at best, where you have to, or other than the Alistar one, but the Showstopper especially, very situational, where you have to be careful about the placement and where you're using it in the team fight, so you don't put yourself in a terrible situation, but you're also trying to find that tank and actually get some damage off that ultimate.
Well, the timing coming through here in the mid lane, St. Alucard going to burn his teleport to just shove in the mid lane. Doesn't have package just yet. We see on the top side of the map, Arth waiting for a potential gank onto Kamintako, but that minion wave for Hawkthorne Esports is not going anywhere. Kamintako just perfectly fine with what looks like a freeze in the top lane, chilling close to his tower.
Man, I'm smelling a little bit of nerves here from Arth. I feel like he knows that this Trundle is not going to have the same gank pressure that a Xin Zhao can, but he's trying to match the ganks and match the pressure on the map here. Rather than just playing for the neutral objectives and playing to scale with levels, he's actually fallen behind in farm. Not a position to be against a Xin Zhao, who's supposed to be the early game gank jungler, kind of just of all of League of Legends right now.
Right, we see HB roaming out of the mid lane a little bit, gonna get spotted by the Scuttle Crab. Knows if he wants to go down into the bot lane, he's gonna have to take an alternate route. But with Hawkthorne bot lane recalling as well, he's going to be able to get some vision around the dragon area. The second Drake of the game going to be Infernal, spawning in just over 2 minutes. Soulpan, we're going to be stuck with either an Ocean Soul or a Cloud Soul.
You know, honestly, the Cloud Soul wouldn't be bad here for the side of Hawkthorne. They got the Stand United that can always be a very powerful tool. You know, as long as it's off cooldown, you can put your son in that side lane and just constantly split. Keep the vision up around the map. Make sure you can always rejoin that fight or look for a 4 versus 5 or even a 3 versus 5 if they can pull 2 people into that side lane. So they can get Godzilla ahead here and get that Cloud Soul, be a really good position for them. Obviously, Ocean Soul's good on just about anyone, so not too bad either for if they can continue to find the snowball and get that soul.
It'd be really fun here. CS advantage in the mid lane for Alucard. He's feeling himself. Lotus White playing their game even just with first blood. As we're about to hit the 10-minute mark, Soulpin, they've got almost a 2,000 gold lead headed into the next dragon.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of that was that TP play from Alucard that you called out earlier. He TP'd in the lane literally just to shove the wave, knowing that Heartstrike Brother wouldn't be able to make it back in time to catch it. So just netted himself a little, like, almost a kill's worth advantage there off of the CS difference he's managed to pull off here in the mid lane. So St. Alucard's been doing a phenomenal job in this matchup.
And I think what is also important to point out here, Soulpan, we have in the bot lane Necrox on this Vayne pick. He's feeling just fine, no deaths, even in CS. 84 at the 10-minute mark, even a little bit more as he's going to be catching this wave. A really solid position for the Vayne to be in.
Certainly gonna be happy with this one. I mean, you kind of just want to play the farm lane. When you're, I like the position in the draft from which they picked this. They saw the Shen, Trundle, and Rel, and they're just like, all right, we need something to get through these beefy lads. So they lock in the Vayne, kills whatever pick in a certain number of autos at X point in the game. So Necrox healing himself here, but we got a potential skirmish over a blue buff. We'll have to see how this one goes.
Heartstruck Brother does hijack the Unbreakable Will. St. Alucard trying to head in. It's a teleport coming in from Kamintako. He's got the flank onto Rosalina. Stand United coming in. Necrox in the back line, safe firing away, and a huge package coming in. Here is Alucard for Lotus White, the Haymaker, taking everybody low. This is Lotus White taking on Hawkthorne Esports, and they're picking up 4 kills as well as the Dragon.
The last thing you wanted here for Hawkthorne was to fight this composition 5v5, and at 10 minutes in, they find just that. A great flank TP from Taco to come down, drags Rosalina into the midst of the melee, not where an ADC wants to be at all, and a great haymaker to find the damage. Everyone doing their jobs here for Lotus White, and it was just over before it began. They find the dragon, they stop the soul snowball, and now it's just looking a little bit worse here for Hawkthorne Esports.
Lotus White looking in their prime form here for finals, making an amazing team play there around the dragon to call for the TP, to call for the engage there. They're feeling it in finals, Sulpan.
And you know what the worst part is?
Ooh, the worst part.
They didn't even get the blue buff. It was smited away by Smart Pants there. So that stings a little bit on the jungler ego. Arth losing out on that trade super hard as he loses not only the enemy neutral objective, but also the dragon itself.
Rift Herald may be an option for Arth to try to pressure, but the top lane going very in favor of the second team all-pro top laner, Taco, ahead almost 30 CS, not a lot of priority up there. Sulpan, if you're Arth, where do you try to make a play on this map?
You're looking, I think, still for the counter gank. If you can find something to turn around here with the Sylas, I mean, the Kingslayer is so powerful, just quickly making what looks like a favorable trade, a very unfavorable trade for your solo.
Right.
So just quickly healing back up and look for something like that. I want to see him play around this lane, but he's just been looking to overforce these ganks. Might be able to find something here towards the bottom lane as Firestreaks walks a little bit too far forward.
He is caught between a pillar and a hard place, Sulpan. The Unbreakable Will not going to be able to break out of this one as Hawkthorne Esports pick up their first kill of the game.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal pillar from Arth there, but Godzilla just burned TP, and I'm not really sure why. Really tough position here for this Shen. He's going to walk all the way back into the top lane, but looks like Hawkthorne wants to try and find more. They're not going to get it.
Taco just wailing away on the top turret. He's going to use the Rift Herald as well. Get him out of the lane horizon. He's going to be knocking down the top lane outer turret. And I got to think, Sulpan, Godzilla, you got to try to freeze the wave at this point.
I mean, it's not really what you want to do on the Shen either. Like, it's good for the lane matchup, don't get me wrong.
Right.
When you walk in the Shen, the condition, or the win condition for Shen is pushing out the side lane, drawing pressure, and then stand uniting into a fight in the middle lane off the back of a hard engage from Matty Mice.
Yeah.
And if he's forced to freeze, it's going to put his team in a really bad spot, but him ahead. So it's really kind of a hard decision for him to make here. He also doesn't have Sunfire Cape or any components of that to help him push out this wave, so freezing might actually be the best option for him here.
And we see that is what he's going to attempt to do here as Rosalina does have the Kraken Slayer on line. Sulpan, maybe a play once again through the bot lane could come through. Rosalina, the substitute, coming in, making the most of the opportunities so far. Most CS on the team. Hawkthorne's used to playing around the ADC. Looks like this game needs to be no different from them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be what they're going to have to do here. Rosalina on this Rosalina are going to have to play to scale, as just falling a little bit behind here in this game. They do have the mythic item on the table here, but it's going to be a while before she really is that powerhouse hyper carry that you need her to be, especially when you're faced off against double ADC on the other side of the river here. Alucard and Necrox will just outdamage your single carry in any fight.
Yeah, Saint Alucard level 11 already. Taco headed in for a punish in the mid lane. Showstopper versus maybe another Showstopper coming through. Taco not going to burn the ultimate, actually. HB going to be fine, just stopping the gank and getting back under turret.
That's actually really funny. Whenever you gank a set, you're always thinking, I can't stand behind him or you'll stop him bringing into tower. And this time, the shield's on the other foot. He steals away the ultimate with the hijack and then throws Set into his own tower. So standing on the wrong side of the Sylas there, but now St. Alucard's just dashing forward.
HB barely going to be able to survive as we see Firestreaks gets a little caught out trying to play some vision. Burns the Unbreakable Will, but here is Necrox versus Rosalina, I think, for this next dragon. But with HB so low, no teleport, it might not be a fight Hawkthorne can take.
Hey, at this point, this is a dragon that if I was in the position of Hawkthorne, I would make the call to just sack and give it on over. You're down in a bunch of kills. You can't give any more gold to these carries as you're on a time. You're subtracting time from the time bomb every single time you give a kill over to this Vayne. And no matter what happens, she will just kill your tankiest member on your team in a certain amount of autos at some point in the game. You don't want to give over any more kills. You have to be super careful. And so they're going to do just that, sacking this one, getting a little bit more farm in the Shen, trying to shove out this mid lane wave just a little bit here for Hardstrike Brothers so he can try and prevent this mid lane tower from falling and just giving away that map pressure to Lotus White here. So they just need to be super careful. They have the one dragon as well, but oh no, Rosalina.
Package available. Here comes a delivery all the way from St. Alucard. He's looking to try to pick up the kill on Rosalina, but he's going to be able to get out. But the tower, Soulpin, I don't know if we're going to be able to say the same thing for that.
Yeah, towers don't have legs to run away, so they gotta either make the choice now to stand here and fight this quad squad from Lotus White that's dropping on down. Also know that Kamantako over this wall. The dive just might happen here as Rosalina's only at half. Kamantako threatening on the flank. It looks like they've managed to just posture, scare him off, and they'll just claim the tower with no blood drawn.
And look at the top lane. Big minion wave coming in, but Kamantako with teleport available. It's actually just going to be Smart Pants headed over. Let's feed the Zins out. Lotus White want to get everybody in on the party, just like we saw that first fight dramatically go their way. And things looking really, really good. Necrox in an amazing position, and St. Alucard just only a little ways away from completing that man immune.
Yeah. The man immune will be a really big component here. Should help them out just a little bit with that scaling into the later stages of the game, but I mean, it's this Corki. He's just gonna be such a presence on the map. The packages have been so clean from him so far. Are trying to go for the solo kill on the Kamantako. I'll have to see how this one goes.
No teleports available for this one, except from St. Alucard. He's going to come up and join things. Godzilla here as well. St. Alucard coming in a little bit too late. Now Godzilla and Arth pushing down the gas pedal to get out of the fight. They get the pick they want.
Yeah, I mean, that's worth something. You managed to find a kill on the side lane. It's not really on one of your carries, but just being able to pick that person off, getting a little bit more gold on one of these melee carries, but they're looking for more. Smart Pants is in a lot of trouble, actually.
Another pick potentially coming through. Arth looking to take a big old chomp out of him. St. Alucard get a flash after going in. He made a little bit of a mistake. He's still pressing forward. A huge stun coming in. Maddie Mice has found the engage. Rosalina jumping out, but here is Necrox. It's looking like the final hour for Hawkthorne Esports as he's got a double kill. The Condemned locking down Maddie Mice. Make it a triple no taco. Finishing that one off. Lotus White find 3 for 2.
MG Rosalina doing their best Malphite cosplay here, but you don't have the knockup or the tanky stats or the damage stats for that matter to make a play like that happen. Everyone from Lotus White collapses and shows up, and once again in the 5 versus 4 scrimmage there, as there was no Silas on the table for the side of Hawkthorne, they just crushed the fight once again. Happy to clean that one up, and a slight over aggressive move here from Hawkthorne will lose them just a little bit more of that gold advantage.
Lotus White saw the fight from a long ways away. That's going to be 2 towers picked up after picking up the 3 kills, as well as they snag the Rift Herald. The next dragon going to be spawning in a little over 90 seconds, and Soulpin, it's looking grim for Hawkthorne Esports here in game number 1 as they're staring down the barrel of a 7,000k gold lead, just hoping we see a little rendition of some counter logic gaming on the Rift.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, they've just positioned themselves so well here. Lotus White has got everything they've wanted so far this game. They gave up only 1 neutral objective, and yes, while they lost the bottom lane tower, they claimed so much for it. Hardstrike though I don't think even had TB available to get into that fight, and even if he did, I don't think it would have been a fact that would have turned it around for Hawkthorne. Yeah. So very dangerous situation that they've now in. Soul coming up here in around 10 more minutes as his first dragon will fall in just a little bit. Or sorry, more like 5 minutes. I still take this dragon, and then the next dragon will spawn up on top of that. But yeah, just with the advantages they have for themselves here on the map, I mean, there's not a lot of options, and Hawkthorne is rapidly running out of avenues back into this game as they continue to fall further and further behind.
Yeah, and I want to go back to a point, Sulpin, you brought up around the start of the game. HB is in a very hard position on this Silas pick. He stole the Alistar ultimate, the Unbreakable Will, before this dragon, and that's really just about the best thing he can do. Is there's no Diana on the enemy team to take their ultimate or something big and crazy like that. He's just gonna be having to do the hard work himself in this one. Is Matty Mice looking for another engage here? He's going for it. Condemn out, Stand United in. Fire Streaks in Smart Pants looking to get caught a little bit. Godzilla waiting for the taunt, waiting for the timing. He's getting melted by Necrox. Heartstuck Brother coming into the back line as well. Smart Pants staying alive for just a little bit, but not long enough. Here is the package coming in. Lotus White are looking to turn this one on its head as St. Alucard from downtown goes on a killing spree. They've got 4 kills. Now trying to hunt down Arth. I think this is going to be another dragon going over to Lotus.
Man, that engage was just so incredibly botched here for Hawkthorne. They try and find something off the back of the rail. She almost had it lined up, but just goes wide on everyone. They managed to dodge out of the way of that. Godzilla drops us in United, but then I don't think his Shadow Dash was back off of cooldown, so he just shows up and stands around in the fight, not really doing anything, just falls there as well. Could have potentially had a 3-man taunt if that cooldown was available, but once again, an attempted push here from Hawkthorne nets them nothing but death and a lost dragon here on the map. One more closer to Soul, and the goal lead just grows here for Lotus White.
They have been able to rely on their signature all-pro first team carry, Sulpin, Necrox, and Alucard. 0 deaths on the game so far, as well as a majority of the kills. This is going exactly the way Lotus White intended. They drafted into Hawkthorne Esports' composition very, very well, and they're executing on the Rift.
Yeah, at this point, you're kind of thinking to yourself, maybe we take a 5v5 when they're trying to do Baron and we get lucky, but I don't think that Lotus White is going to put themselves in a position like that. They can just win these 5v5s straight up. They don't need the siege potential of this Baron. They got a Rift Herald on the map and 280 carries to match. So now just going to shove it up mid, looking at this tower. I believe they should be able to take this one with relative ease.
Oh my goodness, look at the poke coming in from Alucard. Common Taco gonna look for a little action, maybe as Arth rotating out of the bottom of his jungle. Do you think Sulpin, Lotus White decide to pull the trigger on Baron here?
I mean, they could. They're playing this really safe, though. I mean, right there, top and final hour, I guess. Right there, they've dropped the Rift Hill. They're pushing up mid. And there is actually a chance that I think they could have gone for a headbutt pulverize to initiate a fight or look for a pick. But they're just not willing to go for it. Even with this giant lead they have, they're playing very hesitant, very cautious. It is the grand finals after all. And I don't believe they're going to take any risky plays unnecessarily in this game.
9,000 gold lead for them as they're just about 2.5 minutes away from the Cloud Soul, away from trying to secure this game. And Sulpin, I think that's a really good thought there. Lotus White, they're playing safe. It is game 1, but they want to take this opportunity for what it is. This is a win in grand finals that you just don't want to lose away. It'd be hard on the mental, I think, to come back in a series if they lost this lead, so completely understand why they're playing it safe.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the option in a best of 5 to go for the bot's victory, I say just take it. If you don't need, if you have the better scaling comp, if you have the ability to just sit back, relax, and slowly make this chokeout and siege happen. But actually, the fight might happen a lot sooner than we think, as Fire Streak's getting caught out here by a pillar.
Not taunted just yet. Teleport coming in. Common Taco wants to try to look for a fight, but realizes the disengage has already happened, Sulpin. Lotus White, though, gonna turn on to Baron. Only Arth used his ultimate in that last fight. Both Necrox and Fire Streaks, no ultimate coming up.
They're not willing to start it up, though. They're looking to try and bait in Hawkthorne, so they're not wanting to start up this Baron just yet and lose out on those resistances and that damage. They do have the option. I mean, they fully cleared out the vision. There's no more trinket available to scout this one out. And despite that, though, oh my god, what's this engagement?
Preston Guard going to be used to avoid any further damage. Another ultimate burned by Hawkthorne away from Lotus White, taking away their tools. Not ideal, though, for a team that does have 2 Cloud Drakes so far.
Yeah, 3 ultimates currently down. In theory, Hawkthorne could look for the fight and try and play around these cooldowns, but I don't think they're going to be able to do just that. Baron Vision likely to just get cleared out here, but I don't believe Hawkthorne has the ability to take this.
Not really enough damage on this composition. No Cassiopeias in the mid lane, or maybe an Azir as well might fit that bill, but it's really only Rosalina dishing out the DPS. Fire Streaks does have flash available, but it doesn't matter. He still gets the 2-man headbutt. Rosalina almost taken down, gonna have to try to heal away. Matty Mice, though, no horse means he's in for a slow ride out of town. Necroc sends him back the quick way, though, Soulpen. He goes unstoppable.
Yeah, you saw the Rage Blade finally get stacked up there for the Vayne. Now dropping those silver bolt stacks every other auto. It's hurtful. It is painful. And every champion on the map now will just drop so quickly with any amount of CC on top of them. This Vayne can just get in range, do the damage she needs, and pick him up so quick. And now, off the back of that, that's the trigger for the Baron.
That is the pick Lotus White were looking for. Common Taco, the member around this dragon. They may have to trade objectives here, as there's Baron secured by St. Alucard. He's going to try to recall. Dragon quickly getting bursted down as Hawkthorne able to get something back on the map. That's going to stop the soul point up until maybe in 5 minutes from here.
Honestly, and this might sound a little weird, but if you're Hawkthorne here, I would have given over soul. This game with the Baron on this enemy team is going to very quickly just be out of your control. They're going to take up at least one inhib likely off this with their gold lead and with the Baron. And maybe your best chance back into this game would have actually been to let Soul spawn on the map, try and go for a miracle steal and a miracle fight, and that may have been the play to get back into it. But now with that no longer on the table for another 10 minutes, I believe Lotus White has what they need to close out this game in that time.
They're going to the bot lane first, squatting up. Alucard teleport available. Taco, however, does not. Godzilla with both the Stand United and the teleport available. Soulpin, both of these teams have a lot of movability on this map. It's going to be really important. Lotus White here, if they want to close this one out quickly, position their lanes ideally. Common Taco taking it a little slow in the top lane, actually. And really, this trio of 3 in the bot lane, really not the best sieging composition.
Yeah, low range and 2 melee carries, or melee champions here in the bottom lane means they're not really being able to go towards this tower. You can call Fire Streaks a carry, he's a monster on this champion. But now you see Common Taco finally shoving out this wave, will be onto this inhibitor tower in just, I believe, one more wave as he finishes off this one right here. But he's got 2 waves stacked up with him, could very quickly take down this tower if he goes unchecked. And now with the pressure building, we're going to look for either a desperation engage here from Lotus White if they choose to try and die at this tower.
You're going to be having St. Alucard fire the artillery shells away onto the defending party. Rosalina on this Tristana, though, such range, such wave clear to make sure Lotus White don't get the tower just yet. Going to be taking a little bit of extra poke. St. Alucard just trying to deal as much damage as he can. Lotus White, maybe like a Baron medium power play? A power play, maybe a bit of a stretch so far. So I think that's the only turret they've gotten so far. Still very, very ahead, though, in this one as the inhibitors are up next.
Yeah, Hawkthorne did a really good job of keeping these waves away from their towers while the Baron wasn't currently on top of them. So they shoved out every single lane, so it took them a while to get here. But so quickly that tower drops, and now here's the engage.
Arth is trying to get a pick onto Common Taco, but look at the damage coming out of this set. A huge haymaker. Arth gets taken so low, but Common Taco shut down by HB. Lotus White able to respond on the bottom side of the map, Soulpin with the bottom inhibitor.
So the split push does pay off in a sense. They managed to find an inhibitor. But honestly, another thing here, you're 13k gold up. You have Baron. Why are you trying to play the 1-4? Just go for the 5 versus 5. You could stomp any team fight with this double ADC composition. Imagine if Common Taco was in that fight with what he did to 2 members on his own with a Vayne and a Corki to back him up. There's just so much this team composition has for his team fighting that I think, honestly, Lotus White doesn't realize the lead they have over this team, and I don't think it'll bite them in the butt because they're just so far ahead at this point, but they could have closed out this game just a little bit faster.
Cloud Soul potentially going to be spawning for them Soul Pen in 90 seconds. Baron Nashor just over 2 minutes. We got to think the timing on those objectives going to be favoring Lotus White as they can do a little 2 birds 1 stone action, knock out the Cloud Drake, get Cloud Soul, rotate up to a little Baron power play 2 Electric Boogaloo action, and try to close out this game.
Yeah, I mean, these objectives will be a while before they spawn. With the inhibitor down, it kind of opens up the map for them a little more. They could play for another one of these 1-4s, and then really just look to go, like I said much earlier, for the bot's victory to just really secure everything. I don't think it's necessary, but, you know, I'm not playing in the Grand Finals. I don't have that added pressure that comes with playing in a best-of-5 against the second best team in Light League by according to the standings. They're looking to make a statement here for themselves. They're playing this game to the best of their ability, even though they're this far behind. They're going to do everything they can. If you make one mistake, they're going to jump on it.
Well, standing on a ward, not the ideal place to spring a trap. Use the sweepers, boys! Come on, oh, there's the control ward. The jig is up. Dragon going to be spawning in 20 seconds here, Sulpan.
Yeah, should relatively easily go over to Lotus White here. They have the pressure from the bottom lane. Super minions. There is the Sylas going towards the top lane, just trying to get a few more levels before they go for one of these last team fights. Matty Mice not going to be able to get very close to this dragon. His Fire Streaks is just happy to zone out on the Alistar. He's tanky enough to survive long enough for the rest of the team to collapse. And we're seeing Alucard on the package here as well. This dragon should, yeah, just almost instantly goes over to Lotus White.
Look at Kamentaco looking for the pick. Alucard looking to deliver another package into the pack. Same day delivery, but he's getting real low. Shutdown going over to Rosalina. A little misfire. Smart Pants, though, picking up the kill. Rosalina dropping real low. Going to try to flash away. Does so successfully, but Necrox is dominating. Necrox is showing up to the grand finals, baby. He's going to take this 1v1 head on. You better try to buy time to stop this win because Lotus White have come to play. But the shutdown, Necrox gets caught under the turret. The mid lane inhibitor does fall, but this is going to be HB, the fight he's looking for. Taken down, obliterated by Smart Pants as these teams are going blow for blow in the Hawkthorne base.
I mean, the fight's not over yet. They're still trying to take this one. They have no ADCs on the map, and they're still everybody. Both the carries of Lotus White throw away their lives here, but it just doesn't matter. They're too dang far ahead. The melee trio will take down the remaining members, and they'll just look for the Nexus here as the teleport comes through from St. Alucard.
Alucard looking to help close this one off. Soulpin, Matty Mice getting real low. The Spirit's Refuge not coming out just yet. Not a lot of safety left on the Rift. As Smart Pants has taken a focus onto those turrets, St. Alucard gonna put the cherry on top, the ace to finish off game 1. Ladies and gentlemen, Lotus White take the first match and go up 1-0 in this best-of-5 series.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could have been a little cleaner for Lotus White here. At the very end, I talked him up about playing very cautiously and playing very safe. And then St. Alucard just packages underneath the tower and dies. Necrox goes underneath both Nexus towers and dies. And despite that, their gold lead shines as their 3 melees just win the rest of the fight regardless. So this is the power they had over this match. It didn't even matter when their 2 carries throw away their lives. When your 6-0 Vayne dies and your shotgun goes over, normally you're thinking, oh, that was a really good trade. But like, they're just so far ahead. You have to be in a better position than that if you want to capitalize on something like a Vayne just emptying her life away underneath your towers. So ultimately, Lotus White finds the early game advantages here. Hawkthorne Esports unable to find answers, as I think in this early game, Arth was really just looking for those, trying to find ganks to match the Zindel. He just couldn't keep up with the pressure.
The number 1 seed Lotus White coming into the league finals, handling business as usual for the first match. Let's hand it over to the analyst desk to get a little bit of further breakdown into how Lotus White slowly but surely took out Hawkthorne. One of us.
I I was muted. Welcome back to the analyst desk. My name is still Hawk, joined here by my good friend TDS. And my, oh my, we just saw Lotus White take a dominant Game 1 victory over Hawkthorne Esports here in the finals, getting it done in just over 30 minutes. But I'd have to say from just about 5 minutes, that game was already looking like it was going Lotus White's way. TDS, what do you make of that one?
Yeah, I thought by 20 minutes we would have seen the end from the game, honestly, but it was really well played from the side of Lotus White. The answer at the start of the game, and we were talking about this from the draft, the focus that the smart pants on Xinjiao should be doing towards top side. He went, I was saying maybe said, but I love that he went for the Corki, focusing the lane, getting the flash out, and giving first blood for the Corki. That way, it facilitated the Corki going into the mid game. And then, even though it kind of came from a mistake from Hawkthorne, the answer as a whole team from the side of Lotus White in that skirmish on the blue buff was so good. As soon as they saw that they were doing the blue buff, and when they lost the blue buff as well, it was Smart Pants that was able to get it. The collapse from the set, from the Bane, from the Alistar, from the Corki was so good, and it kind of set the pace for everything that Lotus White would be doing continuously in the game.
Yeah, I feel like that skirmish kind of was the epitome of that game and the problem for Hawkthorne and where Lotus White shines so much, in the sense that I think the idea of going for the invade was decent there from Hawkthorne. They're trying to get early priority over the Dragon. We were talking about that Trundle win condition of really being able to stack early soul, and he did manage to take away the first Dragon. So, you know, Hawkthorne setting up around that one was good, but then when they were faced with the fight, they fumbled the execution a little bit. You know, Matty Mice not really willing to commit to the engage immediately. They waited for the set to show up on the teleport flank, excuse me, before really committing to the fight. So I think that was, you know, a big factor in a lot of this game, where it seemed like Hawkthorne had the right idea, but they just fumbled on the execution a little bit. They didn't have the confidence to continue pushing forward. And now, as I do get word that the teams will be staying on the same side, Hawkthorne will have access to the blue side once again. I'm interested to see if there's any changes that you would make for them to try to overcome Lotus White in game number 2.
Comp-wise, I don't think it was that bad, the idea to go for a bursty composition that can't just delete a champion. I think it was based on decision making and how they went for certain fights. But if they're going to change something, maybe give your jungler a little bit more ganking power, because we saw that the Trundle, even though it's not a bad ganking jungler, one of the key things that was mentioned during the cast was how, and in a gank towards Zed at the start of the game, he kind of fumbled the execution, and that made it harder to be able to pull off. So I feel like maybe giving your jungler a Zed stun so that he can just get on top of the champions really easily and then get the kills, I think would be more ideal for them. So that could be an adaptation. Also, one quick thing that I want to give credit towards Lotus White for, it's for Necrox taking the exhaust, because I feel like that the Bane just needs to survive, and having the exhaust to deny the damage from the other side was so huge. Even though we didn't see that much of the usage, I love that small adaptation, and I think that in a close game that could have been massive.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think Necrox in general had a very great performance on the Vayne. We'll disregard the Nexus turret dive, but he really played extremely well, cleaning up a lot of those team fights, especially in the mid game.